One of my favorite types of evaluations for a political science course at the undergraduate level is the op-ed, or opinion editorial. It is a very different format than the traditional political science paper, both in style and structure of writing. This is an exercise that I give to my students at Dawson and have seen different professors at McGill assign as well. The way professors often structure this evaluation is by giving students a general topic, say electoral reform, on which students are asked to make a different or a significant contribution to the debate. What you're not asked to do is simply present agnostically the arguments of both proponents and opponents of electoral reform. Tell me who's right, or suggest an original angle to think about this debate. Importantly, once you pinpoint your big idea or what you want to write about, continuously hammer throughout your op-ed this big idea. And you'll see what I mean by big idea in just a second. But first, let's go over the structure of the op-ed, because as I said, it's very different than most political science papers. So, the jargon in the field is to call the first paragraph of your op-ed the lead paragraph, or others call it the hook. Its function is to grab the reader's attention by answering two questions. What is my one big idea, and why should I care? This should be clear by the end of your first sentence, or at the latest at the end of your first paragraph. If you're writing an op-ed against the Electoral College, by the end of your lead paragraph, which is usually not more than 2 or 3 sentences, it should be clear either why the Electoral College is a flawed system, or why, alternatively, this other electoral system you prefer is the greatest invention since sliced bread, right? The second and longest part of your op-ed are supporting paragraphs. There you build on this one big idea and make claims, facts, anecdote, and statistics. And remember, be selective with your words. Just like in real life newspapers, op-ed have word limitation. So each paragraph, each sentence, and even each word has to contribute to your big idea. Finally, now this might be counterintuitive for many social science students, but in the last paragraph, do not simply summarize your arguments. Take your argument further. And there's 2 strategies here. First, if you're arguing for action or denouncing an issue, propose a solution. Don't just rant. Second, bring the story full circle with a compelling last sentence that will make your reader think about your op-ed for the rest of the day. So, those are the 2 strategies to kind of tie together your op-ed. Either suggest a solution or tie it all together by opening another area of investigation, and make sure that the reader thinks about your op-ed for the rest of the day. Couple extra tips. First, make sure you have a thesis, right? This is not a descriptive piece. Second, focus on your writing. Keep it short and simple. Stand clear of complex academic words or jargon. Be catchy. Don't hesitate to be provocative, etc. Third, don't rant. I said that earlier, don't rant. If you're focusing on a problem, make sure you propose a solution. Fourth, consider having a to be sure paragraph to preempt objection. But this is not necessarily necessary in all cases, so it depends on your op-ed. Fifth, and this is important, sources. Op-eds are generally published in newspapers, so they do not have a bibliography. Rather, embed URLs in the text and or mention the sources in an obvious way in your body paragraph. That sources, by the way, can be another op-ed or news article. It doesn't have to be peer-reviewed. So this is very different than the traditional political science paper where the bibliography or the works cited section is very important, right? Because don't forget, this is an opinion piece, not a research paper, not a descriptive piece. And finally, and I'm repeating myself here, but when you write an op-ed, you need one big idea that ties every paragraph together. That big idea, and why the reader should care about it, has to be crystal clear. Don't make the reader find your big idea. One way to make the reader care is by making it timely, by relating it to something in the news. And so you make your big idea or your topic contemporary by linking it to something that's happening in the news. So I'm doing this video in 2020. Whatever you're writing about, can you think about a way to make it relevant to what's happening with COVID or the US election, etc., etc. So I hope these couple tips on writing an op-ed help you successfully write an op-ed for your political science course.